welcome back to another Axel 72 video, and in today's video I'm back with another interview and I'm here with Qasim Kayani. Qasim, how are we doing, mate?
Not too bad, not too bad, man. I really appreciate you for having me on, and yeah, excited to start the interview.
Indeed, it's a pleasure to have you on, and for anybody that doesn't know, am I right in saying you're a professional boxer who's just turning over to professional now?
Yes, so my debut should be on September 9th. So I was an amateur for about 10, 15 years, so yeah, I thought it was the right time to turn over, so should be making my debut next month.
Brilliant stuff. Well, we'll speak about that kind of amateur kind of starting point just to start off with, and so the kind of basic question which I always like to start off with, why did you start boxing?
So you know what? I was about, say, 13 or 14 years old. My older brothers used to box. So I went to the gym a couple of times. I used to be quite a shy kid. So I don't really used to get involved in the sessions myself. So I used to watch them. Then sooner or later, I started taking a bit of a liking to it myself. So I started going, but I wasn't going on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Once I hit 17, I started going on a consistent basis, on a more regular basis and whatnot. And from then, one thing led to another. Had quite a few amateurs, really fell in love with the sport. And now, yeah, so the next step was to turn professional.
Most definitely. And just throughout your kind of amateur career, what would you say was your biggest achievement?
My biggest achievement. So for me personally, I'd say just having my first amateur fight was a very big achievement, in a sense where throughout being a child at 13, 14-year-old, it was almost something unimaginable, even stepping to the ring. Not because I was afraid or because I didn't think I was capable of doing it, just because I thought it seemed surreal to me. So having my first amateur fight, I'll be honest, I think that was my biggest achievement. But nonetheless, I have beat quite a few kids. I beat a couple of national finalists. I beat a couple of professionals. I won a couple of cups. So yeah, but I think my biggest achievement is just having my first fight.
Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, with your prior answer, you kind of touched a bit upon how you were maybe a little bit more of a quieter kid. And so, how much did kind of boxing help you maybe come out of your shell a little bit more?
So you know what? It does a lot. Even at the moment, I'm working with kids with my boxing club in Stylistic camp or whatnot. So boxing gives confidence to the shy, and it does amazing stuff for you. So for example, me as a kid, I was quite a quiet kid. I didn't really like speaking too much. I wasn't too confident, and whatnot. But what boxing did for me is it gave me that extra bit of confidence to believe in myself, and I believe it does that it do that for a lot of kids. So yeah, so anyone that's having second thoughts, having thinking about doing it or not doing it, it could possibly change your life. So I would strongly recommend for you to get into boxing.
Definitely, that's what great stuff to hear. And so, for yourself, you're turning professional with Goodwin Boxing, and so how excited are
Yeah.
you to be working with them?
So you know what? I spoke to a couple of management teams in the UK and across London, but for me personally, I thought Goodwin is the best manager to maneuver my career.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's getting titles, whether it's getting the right fights at the right times, I think he was the right way to go. And with that being said, even my current trainer, I was having a look at other managers and whatnot. My current trainer pushed me towards Goodwin, and he said, "You ain't gonna find a better manager in England in terms of maneuvering yourself for titles and putting yourself in a position where you're getting those title fights and you're progressing your career." So I think Goodwin was not the only option, but he's the best possible option.
Most definitely, and of course, with Goodwin, you fight every time at your call, and so how kind of nice of it is to fight at the home of British boxing.
You know what it's the mecca of boxing in the UK and whatnot. Like Muhammad Ali's fought in there, so the prize fight series used to be there. So it's a privilege fighting there every single time. So yeah, it's an honor representing my team, my family in that ring, and especially at the mecca of boxing in the UK and the York Hall. So it's exciting times, man.
Totally, and so for yourself and yourself just turning over now, what would you say is your current motivation for the sport?
So for me, it's not so much in terms of getting clout, getting famous,
Mm-hmm.
or being well known. Because in my area, my family's quite well known. Anyways, we have quite a bit of respect in our area, and when it comes to fame and all that stuff, I'm not really too interested in that. My current motivation is I love fighting. I enjoy fighting, and I believe I could beat anyone if I'm being totally honest. No matter if it's 140 or 147. And I've never really shared the ring with someone that I thought is better than me. So my current motivation is just to fight and to become the best fighter I could possibly be. So whether that means going all the way to titles or whatnot, we'll have to wait and see. But at the moment, when I look at the scene, especially the British scene, I think I could stick it with any of them at the top level.
Amazing stuff. And so, just for yourself, you said £140. So is that the weight division that you're going to be going into?
So yeah, so it'd be 140, 147 for title fights and whatnot. I'd say 140, so 63.5.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be the division where I'll be really pursuing my career. Yeah.
Okay, amazing stuff. And so you touched upon your debut being September 9th, and so quite a long but nice camp that you've got there for yourself to start off with. And so overall, how's preparations been?
So preparation's not been too bad. I've been training for the last 4 weeks. So I've been ticking over. I've been getting the sparring. I'm getting the work, and that's the reason I've got a bit of a mark on my face as well. So I've been putting the work in, and the last 5 weeks of camp is just to put that little bit of extra in, and the last couple of weeks to taper it down and just to be at a good level where I can put on a convincing and clinical performance. So camp's been going good. I've been getting high level sparring. So yeah, so I should put on a nice little display on fight night.
Amazing stuff. And for these people that are coming to watch you on fight night and maybe might not have watched you throughout the amateurs, what would you say makes yourself interesting as a fighter?
You know what? With me, when it comes to fighting and when it comes to competing with another man, I like to take his rule. So it's all about who can dog it out longer. So when you see me fight, I might box for 30 seconds of a round or maybe 40 seconds of a round. But then I get into a dog fight. And I know how journeymen work. I know journeymen come to move around with you and whatnot. And if you fight them, they fight you back. So I'll be going in there giving everyone a fight. And I'm quite long. I'm 6 foot and I'm quite long and wiry, but I like fighting in the pocket. So I like fighting in the pocket, engaging with my opponent and seeing who can dog it out a little longer and seeing who'll break first. So I think I'll make some exciting fights, man. So yeah, so if they come watch me, they should be ready for an exciting time.
Amazing. And so, is there any kind of fighters maybe kind of coming up, or even just at the moment, that you look for stylistic kind of inspiration?
Uh, so when it comes to stylistic inspiration, I'd say my top two fighters are Andre Ward and Bernard Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of stylistically, I think they're my favorite fighters of all time. But in terms of like the whole package, everything, of course, the generic answer is Muhammad Ali. Like everyone loves him. But for me, at the moment, the current fighters, I don't really look at too much, especially my age, because I don't know. I think it's a boxer thing, so you don't really look at too many people your own age to get inspired from. But from the fighters not too long ago, I'd say Bernard Hopkins and Andre Ward. They're the guys for me. They're the guys I look up to.
Definitely, they're amazing inspirations. Yeah. And so, for yourself currently, just turning over, would you kind of say that would activity is your most important factor?
100%. Because even as an amateur, my worst thing was not being active enough. I used to fight maybe, whereas other amateurs were fighting maybe 15 times a year, 10 times a year. I used to be fighting maybe 2, 3, at times 4, 5 times a year, which wasn't enough. Even most recently, my last amateur fight was over a year ago, so last July. So the main thing for me when it comes to this is getting in there, putting the work on the guy, and then getting another date as soon as possible, and doing the exact same thing over and over again.
Amazing. And so for yourself and your kind of future aspirations for the sport, how far do you believe you can go?
For me personally, I believe I can go the whole way. Again, like I touched on earlier, when it comes to the British scene, there's nothing that really puts fear into me. Mm-hmm. Like especially at the 140 division, even at the 147 division, that the guys at the very top, I see them and I see everyone as beatable. And like I've said to you, I've never stepped into a ring with anyone that I thought I'm not better than. So I see myself going the whole way, and I'm not in this sport just to win English titles, win a Southern area belt. If you're in this sport, you got to be deluded a little bit. You got to be deluded. And not saying of course, at times being delusional is bad, but at times you got to be delusional within yourself. Whereas you got to believe in the unbelievable. So, my aspirations are nothing less than to become world champion. If I'm doing this and if I'm going to take it serious, that's what I want to aim for.
Totally. I mean, you kind of have to have that self confidence, and sometimes you see fighters that maybe don't have that kind of self confidence, but have the ability, but then don't kind of live up to it because they don't believe in themselves enough.
Exactly, exactly. So a lot of the times people are just happy to be there.
Mm.
People get into a ring with someone else and they be very negative and they just happy to do the rounds and whatnot. So I'm from a fighting family. My older brother's a professional boxer. My oldest brother's he's a professional boxing coach. My dad, he was a fighter, not a professional boxer, but he was a fighter. So I've been around it my whole life. So I'm not just gonna be going and be happy to make up the rounds. When it comes to me, is do or die. So I'd either go out my shield, go out swinging, or I wouldn't do it at all. So yeah, that's the bare minimum. Going the whole way, the whole way is the bare minimum. At least trying to go the whole way.
Of course, amazing stuff. All right, well, I'll leave you this final question, which I always like to ask. You've got a little bit of a platform here. Would you like to shout anything out?
Um, I shout you. I appreciate the interview. You look like you're upcoming. You look like you're doing your
Appreciate
thing. The future IFL TV. So
it.
you're doing your thing.
We'll see
You look
about
like
that.
you're up there as well. And especially that you look quite young yourself.
Mm.
So with what you're doing as well, it's inspirational to me because I see a young lad like you putting the work and interviewing all these guys. I've seen your page, seen you interviewing all these professional boxers that are a lot more experienced than me, giving a platform to guys who ain't experienced at all, like for like myself. So I'm very privileged to be on your show. So yeah, shout out to you, and also shout out to my trainer, shout out to my brothers, yeah, shout out to everyone. So yeah, we're here to take over, man.
Most definitely. No, I really appreciate the kind words and appreciate your time here today, mate. And maybe a little bit further along down the line, we can come and have you back on again.
100%. Hopefully down the line, I'll have a couple of W's and no gentleman have beaten me then, yeah? So
Yep.
let's
No,
hope I get the work in.
most definitely. And so if you're on your own and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like video. And thanks for